Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Former Lloydminster Mayor and City Councillor Ken Baker was remembered at City Council yesterday after news broke of his passing Monday morning. Eric Bay has the story.
A staple at City Hall for much of the last 25 years, Ken Baker left his mark on the city of Lloydminster. Baker spent a total of 21 years on City Council, including 9 years as mayor from 2000 to 2009, and was an instrumental part of many decisions over the years.
He was here for City Hall. He was here for the building of the Service Sports Centre. Councillor Torreson referenced the skate park. Ken Baker has his stamp on so many places in this community. They're immeasurable. You can't count them all for all the things he did.
Councillor Aaron Buckingham spent the last 4 years sitting next to Baker on council and remembers meeting Baker back when Baker was still the mayor, realizing how important he was to Lloydminster.
And I thought as a young man, leading the Chamber of Commerce and going to, you end up with different functions with the mayor, and I got to sit with him and thinking, man, this is a giant of our community. This is someone who has done so much and continues to do so much. I could only aspire to be half as community-minded as Councillor Baker or Mayor Baker was at the time.
At Baker's final council meeting, every member of council pointed to Baker's leadership and guidance, which helped them navigate municipal politics. That sentiment was repeated yesterday, with many members continuing to speak with him on current matters facing council.
He expressed his views, and he was, as it's been discussed, he was not one to mince words, laid out his position, was an excellent team player. He taught us an awful lot in this last 4 years, and certainly I'll miss those guiding pieces.
He instilled a lot in us. I talked to him as late as last week about things that were going to be coming forward, and he always had an opinion, so it'll be tough not to be able to reach out or hear that phone call, and he always called me and say, "How are you, young man?" And that was how he always did it.
Known to shy away from recognition, Baker was honored on both sides of the border, receiving the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association's Distinguished Service Award, and was honored by municipalities of Saskatchewan, both in 2019.
He said, "I'm here to give out awards, I'm not here to receive awards," was one quote that'll ride with me. And as much as we tried to get him on the public stage, there was not going to be any of that from his perspective, because he felt that it was just part of the job.
Baker was first elected to council in 1994 and stayed there until 2009 before returning as councillor in 2014. He was 79. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
There are 175 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan, including 14 in the Northwest Zone. The Northwest 2 subzone, which is the immediate Lloydminster area, has 2 new cases and 43 active cases. 2,927 cases are active province-wide. 105 people are in hospital, including 7 in our zone. 20 people are in intensive care, 2 of those in the Northwest. 112 people have recovered. The lights and sounds of Christmas House in Lloydminster has been a tradition for residents to come by and get in the holiday spirit. Connor Chan reports.
It's the house that everybody talks about. Jerry Frank's Christmas house is gearing up for another year with 250 man-hours of setting up. Some technical issues have pushed the start of the show back a bit, but it will feature some new things for the front show. Frank always enjoys bringing the holiday enjoyment every year.
My biggest thing is just making sure that people have an opportunity to get into the Christmas spirit. And if I can help that, then I'm doing my job. And I love to come out and see the people as they watch the show, as they check out the backyard and everything like that, and just see the smiles on the kids' faces and the joy it brings to everybody as they enjoy it.
The backyard will be on full display for visitors to come and explore while also following social distance protocols.
This year with COVID, we are just asking everybody to be conscious of the social distancing. There's not really anything to touch, so that part's easy. But as long as people just are, conscious of the social distancing, we should be good.
And when asked about what's the best thing about having his setup?
One of my favorite things was we have a kitchen window just up there and everything. We'd hear people walking up the driveway, and as they come through the archway, and then they turn the corner and they see the backyard and they go, "Wow!" That's one of my favorite moments.
The house also helps out local charities and will continue to collect donations this year. Frank says everything will be ready to go by tonight and run until the end of December. Connor Chan, Primetime Local News.
The Snowflake House Respite Foundation has found a way to support small local vendors while also giving residents the opportunity to shop for Christmas. Jace Mackey has more on their weekly holiday craft fair.
I'm joined today with the Executive Director of the Snowflake House Respite Foundation. Shellyanne is here to talk to me. Thanks for taking some time to talk to me today.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the holiday craft fair that's being hosted by the Snowflake House. But first, the last time we spoke, you guys were preparing to enter your new offices. How are things going on that front?
Really good. We moved in on the 15th of August and we opened it officially on the 1st of September. And it's been quite busy.
That's good to hear. So obviously, holiday craft fair is taking place over the weekends. Can you just tell me a little bit about it?
So we've had so much support from the community that we decided to give back. The board and I had a conversation, and we have a huge bay space at the back of our building. We decided that we would give back to the community. So every Saturday and Sunday from 10 till 4, we have up to 9 vendors in here. We are not charging for the tables simply because of the economy, and it's our way of helping others buy from local vendors, craft fairs, and whatever.
So is this going to be taking place every weekend up until Christmas, or how will that work?
This is going to be every weekend until December 20th.
And for people who are interested in possibly being vendors, are they able to reach out and set up a table?
Yeah, they can either pop in at the office or they can give me a call at 306-830-2655 and we can make arrangements for them to come.
So over the past weekend that you've done this, what has the turnout been for people coming and what kind of vendors have showed up?
We've had home bakers. We've had all kinds of crafts. We've had woodwork. The reception has been very good with the community. We've had quite a few people show up. It's a little bit difficult because people are trying to figure out where exactly we are. So if they remember, we're Highway 17 North between Fast Gas and Umami, right in the same building as Hay Plumber.
All right. And how important do you think it is for Snowflake House to be able to help support some local businesses during a difficult time?
Well, I think because we've gotten so much support ourselves and that we're always looking for community support, that when we have an opportunity to give back, we certainly will.
And obviously you mentioned that you guys aren't charging for vendors to have a table there. Is there any way that the Snowflake House is charging anyone when it comes to this, or is it just really a way to support the community?
It's a way to support the community. However, we do have a small table of crafts that if given a donation, we have things that were made by the staff and the children of Snowflake. So if somebody makes a donation to us, then they get something.
Is there anything else you want to add that we didn't get to touch on?
No, I just want to say again, thank you to the community for being so supportive to Snowflake and that we continue to work together as we grow.
All right, well, thank you for taking some time to talk with me. And the holiday craft fair is going to be taking place from 10 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. And can you just go over one more time where you guys are located?
Okay, so we are on Highway 17 North between Fast Gas and Umami Restaurant, right next door to Hay Plumber.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking with me today, Shellyanne.
Thank you for having us.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jazz. We're looking right now. Still some cloud coverage continuing on throughout the day. Right now, sitting at -7. We didn't have that bad of a morning, even though it was a little bit colder with that added wind chill. We're still in those minus single digits and surprisingly been a little bit warmer than what we initially thought. But with that wind chill, it feels more so like -14 outside right now. Taking a look at some other temperatures in the area, we see -6s in the Vegreville, Vermilion, Marwayne, and St. Paul areas. -2 out in Edmonton right now. -4 for Cold Lake and in Lac La Biche. -8 for Provost and Macleod. -6 -6 out in Maidstone as well, along with St. Walburg, -5 in Green Lake and Meadow Lake, as well as in North Battleford. Now here's a look at the satellite radar map, and this could be happening in the next little bit here. We are expecting that snow system coming in from Edmonton, at least into our area. We aren't going to be seeing that snow possibly until the early mornings of tomorrow. We are expected around that 1 to 3 centimeters of snow, but a lot of that's going to start coming into the Edmonton area around that 6 o'clock range, 6 to 8 o'clock range, where there's some ice on top of all of that snow and precipitation that we could be seeing. But taking a look right now at overnight North Battleford, -11 with some cloud coverage going into tomorrow, with that snow continuing on from what we are getting at -3 in North Battleford, -9 in Cold Lake overnight tonight, going into -4 tomorrow, the daytime high, and a little bit of sunshine expected throughout the day. And then as we look for us here in Lloydminster, -10 overnight with -5 throughout the day tomorrow, with that snowfall again 1 to 3 centimeters is what's expected right now. But as we look at the next 3 days here, -6 the high for Thursday, that low there of -9 there, and then a little bit warmer on Friday, and we should have a pretty decent week again, kind of similar to what we had last weekend. Hopefully a little bit more sun comes up our way here, but -2 is the expected daytime high there on Friday. That is a look at your weather forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. We spoke with Spectrum Restoration about their new business partner and preparations for the winter. I'm joined here with Travis Steve with Spectrum Restoration. Now, First On Site recently acquired Spectrum Restoration. So are you excited to begin work with them?
It's going to get better for our employees. There's going to be lots of room for advancement and actually more growth with the new company. So there'll be a lot more opportunities, and being in this down economy and low oil price and COVID, it's really nice to see. Actually, we had one of our busiest years ever this year. And I'd imagine First On Site is going to, expand the region even further.
Will the business be seeing any big changes at all?
There will be some changes, a lot of operating systems and help nationally. So if we need extra support, they can bring in resources from across the country in North America to help out.
And with the COVID-19 pandemic, have you had to change a lot of the ways that you do things, and such as going to people's house and just things like that?
We have. Yeah, we've had to increase the level of personal protective equipment for our employees as well as the customers to make sure we're protecting everybody. We do a lot of work in healthcare facilities, so again, we have to be extra careful in those situations. And in every project, there's unique challenges right now.
And with winter quickly approaching, what would you say are some tips to give people to prepare their homes ahead of this?
I think one of the key things is making sure you've got the right insurance in place. We find a lot of situations where insurance isn't in place or not enough of it, so it's a good idea to check things out that way. And the normal, making sure there's no combustibles around your furnace and pipes are well insulated and not going to freeze. That's very important.
And would you say, is there any other different types of tips for businesses who are also preparing for this?
Same thing goes for the insurance, making sure you have enough of it. And pretty much the same rules apply as far as making sure that pipes are insulated and all that kind of stuff.
And throughout this, has the disaster restoration business, with technology changing and everything advancing, has that seen a lot more transitions in, you would say, your line of work?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have apps for tracking claims now, and even moisture tracking on walls, 3D cameras for documenting losses. It's really changed in the last 5 years.
And is there anything else that you would like to add?
First On Site is a big community supporter, and they will be driving a lot of local jobs, and their values really align with what Spectrum was in the community, and that's one of the reasons we chose to sell to First On Site.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Travis.
Thank you.
As snow continues to fall, the Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club is in the middle of preparing for the season. Evan Kenny has more on the club and what the year could look like.
Well, the snow has fallen, which means it is the time of year to go skiing. And yes, today we are talking about cross-country skiing. I'm pleased to be joined by Brian Robinson from the Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club. Brian, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for reaching out to me.
Now, Brian, it's my understanding that there are a handful of trails set at the Lloydminster Golf and Country Club. I guess, first of all, just what does the near future look like for setting other trails as well?
Well, we set a trail at the golf course on Sunday, just one trail. It's about a 5-kilometer loop, but you can take the shortcuts and end up back at your starting point if you're not feeling like doing a full 5 kilometers. They're doing a bit of work at the golf course right now, so we're kind of starting on the north parking lot, whereas we normally start on the south parking lot. So once they're done this construction at the golf course, we'll be going back to the south parking lot and making a couple extra trails out there, like still the 5-kilometer one that loops the exterior of the golf course, and then a couple on the inside of the golf course that are a bit shorter.
Now, Brian, with the big dump of snow that we did get at the beginning of this month, how much did that help you guys just being able to set those trails and the quality of the trails?
Well, we didn't get as much as we'd like to get. Like, would have been nice to get somewhere between what Saskatoon got and what we got. But the trails, there is a bit of grass showing, and some of the trails are on the paved golf cart trails. So there's the odd place where there is some pavement sticking through, but very minor. The grass doesn't affect your skis. The pavement does do a little bit of damage to your skis, but it's only for a few feet or a few yards basically on the whole trail. So it's all pretty good.
Now, Brian, from my understanding is the rentals are flying. Lots of people are looking to get skis and get them early. Do you expect this to keep going and just for the sport to continue to grow as the season progresses?
Well, last Saturday, we rented out 28 sets of skiing equipment. And on last Saturday, we rented out about 16 or 18 sets of skis out at our clubhouse. And these are all skis that are waxless, which is good for people that just want to try the sport. We do have waxed skis that we still have available. And there has been a few people interested in using the wax skis because that's all we have left, basically. So it's been an awesome start.
Lots of people wanting to jump in. Now, have you noticed anything to do with COVID-19? Any people bringing up possible worries that have to do with COVID?
Haven't heard of any concerns. I mean, it's an excellent sport where you can social distance out on the trail, and even at the clubhouse, there's lots of space there and it's all out in the fresh air. So haven't heard of any concerns. I mean, we did have everybody wearing masks last Saturday out at the clubhouse. So
now you mentioned masks. Are there any other sort of precautions that, people could be seeing at the clubhouse this year?
We've got the hand sanitizer out there, and, people probably should wear their masks indoors if there's more than their own little bubble out there. But yeah, that's probably about all. I mean, people are just anxious to get out.
Now, Brian, in the past, the club has hosted different events like the Poplar Bluff Loppet. Do you hope / expect that these different events will continue on this year?
Oh, I'm quite sure they will. I think we can make it work with the Loppet as well as our poker rally that we hold in February. Probably there's just enough space for people to social distance out there.
Right on, Brian. I know lots of people are excited to get out and hit those trails, and hopefully we can get some more snow and make it a great year for everybody out there skiing.
Yeah. So I'll just mention that we do have our website, LloydminsterCrossCountrySkiClub.com, and that's how you can join to be a member. There's a link there that you can be a member of the club. Plus there's a contact form there that you can fill out, and it'll get sent to me, and then I'll respond back to people's concerns. And yeah, we'll be posting when we set trails at the golf course as well as Poplar Bluff. We won't set them till December 1st because it's currently hunting season out there. So we're waiting till December 1st to do Poplar Bluff trails.
Right on, Brian. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you taking this time.
Yeah, thanks. It's been great.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Taking a look right now, still sitting around that -7 mark right now. We are going to start to see that snow, not until the early parts of tomorrow morning, but it is going to start to make its way in towards the Edmonton areas. It's a little further out west right now, and it's going to make its way, as I mentioned, into the Edmonton area around that 6:30, 7 o'clock range. It'll slowly make its way into the Lloydminster area. But taking a look right now at other temperatures out west, -1 in Edson, -4 for Red Deer, Athabasca. We see +4 right now out in Jasper, -2 for Rocky Mountain House. -4s also in Meadow Lake and Cold Lake as well, with -5s in Saskatoon, North Battleford, and in Prince Albert, while 7 degrees is in Melfort. Taking a look at Uranium City and Stony Rapids, sitting in double digits in minuses right now, -12 and -14. We see -12 also in Wollaston Lake, and then areas like La Ronge and Flin Flon at -9, and then La Loche and Buffalo Narrows sitting at -5. Taking a look at northern Alberta right now, -2 for Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, and Peace River, -7 in High Level with -4 in Slave Lake, and -4 also in Fort Chipeway. Now as we take a look down south there, nice warm temperatures there in areas like Calgary, Medicine Hat, and in Lethbridge, sitting at Calgary at 8 degrees, Lethbridge at 5, Medicine Hat at 4 degrees, close to that 10-degree mark though in Calgary. 2 degrees in Banff right now with -9 in Coronation, -8 for Kindersley with -3 we see in Swift Current, Moose Jaw, and then we see -5s in Regina and in Estevan, and -9 out in Yorkton. As we take a look across the rest of the country here, lots of cloud coverage continuing on as that trend there, -3 in Winnipeg, -6 in Quebec City, -1 in Toronto. We see 3 degrees out in St. John's with -1 in Halifax right now. Looking at Vancouver, 8 degrees with some showers, -9 up in Yellowknife, and -6 in Whitehorse, both with some flurries right now. Now, as we take a look at for tomorrow, we are expected about up to 3 centimeters of snow. -4s are expected daytime high here in Lloydminster, as well as in Vermilion, St. Paul, Bonnyville, and in Cold Lake as well. -3 we see there for Wainwright, Provost, Macklin, and in Vegreville. -1 in Edmonton, -2 for Lac La Biche tomorrow. -4 in North Battleford. Then we see -5 in Maidstone with -2s also in Green Lake and in Meadow Lake as well. Now, as we take a look at the next 7 days here, getting into Thursday, a little bit colder on Thursday with that high of -7 there. We start to warm up a little bit more on Friday, with hopefully a little bit more sun coming up on Friday there at -2. We'll have similar temperatures and sunshine and cloud coverage compared to what we saw last weekend. So -4 is the expected high there for Saturday. A little bit more sun on Sunday with that high of -5. A little colder morning there at -10. And then we look at Monday, we start to get a little bit warmer at -1, and then -3 is with clear skies expected there for Tuesday. And of course, this is something we haven't seen in a while with some nice weather in around this time of year. Normally we do get to those double digits in minuses, but looking at our averages, we usually average around -6, and for our daytime high, averaging -14 for our daytime low. But let's look at your weather forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back to This Week in Pet Project, everyone. We're joined once again with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster District SPCA. How are you doing this week, Becca?
I'm doing really good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. So who do we have here today, this little fuzzy guy?
This lovely lady here is Kiki, and we decided to do her today because she's our longest resident.
Oh.
So she's been here about 4 months now.
Oh boy, and so how is she? Is she she looks pretty calm. She's been hanging out on that chair the entire time we've been talking, so surely she likes to sit still.
Yeah, I mean she's we describe her kind of as the mama of the condo, and but yeah, otherwise she's very affectionate and she loves all of the attention really. So It was supposed to be my chair, but I let her have it.
Well, that's very nice of you, Becca. So she kind of seems like the nice old lady of the group, maybe. Like she's always telling the other cats to like, hey, keep it quiet. You know, this isn't a party. Beautiful.
Yes.
So we were speaking last week about how you guys right now are basically full of cats, correct? Are you guys still at capacity?
Yeah, we're still full, and I mean we've had a couple pickup of adoptions since we made the post, which was really nice. And then, but yeah, so I mean we've kind of started toying with the idea of looking at transferring some cats out.
So how does something like that work then, Becca? Do you transfer cats to another shelter somewhere, or?
Yeah, like we kind of look and see if there's any, you know, kind of even individual rescues that can take a few. But yeah, like so, because I mean, generally this time of year, everyone's kind of full. So it comes down to kind of more the independent rescues kind of thing that might have a little bit more space.
Well, if there's anybody out there who wants to adopt a cat or wants to foster, that is a great way, you know, that we could help lower those numbers. So hopefully we don't have to, you know, do anything too extreme like that. So how are you doing for other animals, Becca? I know recently we spoke and you guys were low on dogs, which is a good thing.
Yeah, we're still low. Like I said, they seem to have gotten the memo to stay home. So that's really nice. But we still have 4 rabbits and 2 guinea pigs in care as well. So they're here ready for adoption or up for viewing as well.
Oh, wow. So if anybody out there is interested in a guinea pig or a rabbit, then certainly stop by. Becca, so we were also speaking earlier about the jail and bail coming up. So how's everything going for that?
Yeah, they're really good. You know, like I said, it's kind of a bit of a different situation this year. We can't have anybody in the shelter, but you know, we've sent out some invites and we're waiting to hear back. But we're more than happy to get some more volunteers come in. But yeah, so I mean, so far everything's running fairly smoothly.
Beautiful. So if there's anybody out there listening who would like to volunteer for the jail and bail, how did they get in touch with you, Becca?
Yeah, they can email me. My email is just giving@lloydminstersbca.com, or they can call the shelter and talk to me as well at 780-875-2809.
Beautiful. And of course, Becca, like we were saying earlier, this is really the time of year when a lot of shelters need a little extra support with, you know, lots of animals needing homes at this time of year. And it's cold out, so we can't have cats running out in these freezing temperatures. So, Becca, obviously you guys are always appreciative of monetary donations. And I always like to ask, you know, are there any physical items that you guys are in need of? Obviously, with the amount of cats you have, I'm sure you guys are maybe looking for you know, cat items, obviously, blankets, food, things of that nature. What specifically could people drop off if they wanted to do a good deed this week?
Yeah, I mean, like we're still doing really good for food, so that's good. But I mean, even like cat beds or cat toys, we typically see a lot of that around Christmas time, which is nice. But yeah, laundry detergents, dish soap, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, we got lots of blankets donated recently as well too, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean, just got anything. Like we're always happy to take anything.
Beautiful. Well, you heard it there, guys. The SPCA is always appreciative of anything, you know, that the community can give. So we are out of time here for this week, Becca, but I want to thank you again for joining us, and we will speak with you again next week.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
I'm speaking with Lewis Smith with Canada Safety Council. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Shelby. How about yourself?
I'm doing very good. So November 24th to the 30th is National Home Fire Safety Week. What kind of message is the Canada Safety Council trying to send by having this awareness week?
Well, this awareness week is specifically positioned where it is at the end of November because the holiday season is always one of the most crucial points where we see the most home fires. And Statistics Canada kind of bears this out. Of the most recent data that we have, about a shade over 60% of all fires happen in residential areas. And there's plenty of data to corroborate the fact that a lot of these fires happen when folks are cooking. So we figured, especially this year, and especially in the context of this crazy world that we're living in, with so many people spending more time at home and so many people spending more time cooking, that it would be important to focus in on that specific element of home fire safety and make sure that it's at the top of people's minds when they're cooking, so that if something unfortunate does happen, they're aware of what needs to be done.
And with the pandemic, do you believe there's been more incidents with home fires, especially since people are quarantined?
We believe it, yes, but we don't have to believe it solely based on word of mouth. There was actually a study done by Allstate Insurance a couple of months ago that said that they faced an increase of more than 300% in fire-related claims throughout COVID relative to a normal year. So very much a cause that we have evidence to confirm.
And can you expand on what kind of safety tips you'd give residents when cooking at home?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the tips that we do suggest tend to be a bit on the side of common sense. When you're cooking, try to avoid having loose-fitting clothing because it can inadvertently get caught on an element or in a hot area and catch fire unexpectedly. We also recommend keeping any kind of flammable objects, drapes or rags or any kind of dishcloths away from heat sources because they too can combust fairly quickly. But the big piece of advice that we're giving is in relation to grease fires. Humans kind of have an instinctive nature to see fire, throw water at it, right? It's kind of that common logical perspective. But that is exactly what you don't want to be doing with a grease fire because it spreads the grease, which gives the fire more opportunity to catch, right, and to spread. So our recommendation for grease fires is if you notice a pan catch fire, don't throw water on it. Put a lid on it and take it off of the heat source. That's definitely your best bet to ensure that the fire doesn't spread, and the lack of oxygen from putting the lid on it will smother the fire and prevent it from getting worse than it could get otherwise.
And how can people help spread these tips and suggestions for others that do a lot of home cooking or smokes, of course?
Well, word of mouth is obviously an excellent way to do it. Just talking with your friends and making sure that they're aware of it is a really important thing. We have all kinds of information on our website at canadasafetycouncil.org. We recommend checking that out, not only for tips on cooking safety, but also on tips for fire extinguisher safety, because it's not much good to know how to fight a fire if you don't have the tools to do so.
And is there anything else planned for National Home Fire Safety Week to help spread more awareness?
Yeah, we'll be posting regularly on our social media channels. Obviously, our ability to hold an event is a bit curtailed, what with COVID restrictions and whatnot, but we'll be sure to be active in the internet sphere and just pushing our message as much as we can to make sure that if something does happen and a fire does catch for someone, they can look at it and say, that's right, I'm not going to throw water on it because I saw that goofy looking guy on TV.
And is there anything else you want to add for residents to know about concerning this week?
I think the most important thing is that a life cannot be measured relative to possessions. So if you do get caught in a situation where you do get a grease fire that you're not able to contain and you notice it starting to spread, don't try to play a hero. Get out, call for help. Firefighters are always more well equipped to handle larger scale fires. And ultimately, your life is what matters most.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Lewis.
My pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. Snow expected tomorrow at -4, up to 3 centimeters there. -7 Thursday, a little bit warmer on Friday at -2. We're going to have a similar weekend to what we had last weekend. -4 on Saturday, -5 Sunday with clearer skies, and then -1 Monday with clear skies on Tuesday.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.